So hi everybody, hi everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. Today, we are joined by Shazma, and Shazma, is a first year engineering student. Yeah. So okay, let me start again. Something was echoing. So welcome everybody, welcome to the session, and today we are joined with Shazma. Shazma, she's a first year engineering student, MCA student, and she has been selected as a Google Summer of Code contributor with the Joomla organization. So welcome Shazma, welcome to our channel, and would you like to tell a bit more about yourself and the community to the viewers?
Thank you for having me here. And so let me introduce myself. I am Shazma Siddiqui, as you all have already heard. I am a first year student, technically second because first year is now over. I am pursuing my master's in computer applications from NIT Raipur. And so this year I'll be a student contributor in GSOC with Joomla.
Okay, okay. So, let's get into it really. So, like, how did you find Joomla? How did you find open source in general? Because a lot of students don't know
Um,
about it. So, like,
Yeah, so
what was the beginning step?
just like most of the students know from Kunal Kushwaha, I also heard about open source and GSOC in general from Kunal Kushwaha's videos, especially post
Okay,
podcast. So first of all, I heard about GSOC. I didn't had any idea about
okay,
what is open source, but I knew about it is something related to Google. Then I started
okay.
my search about open source and what is it
Mm-hmm.
about, and then I got to know about Hacktoberfest. So my plan was to start with Hacktoberfest in October, and then I'll start my contributions, make a good image in my organization, and then in April or May, whenever the GSOC process starts, then I'll start
Okay,
with GSOC. But nothing like this happened. So I thought like start this year with GSOC only, and then I'll see how it goes. Next year I'll be like more serious about GSOC. But I got
okay.
this year only.
So, when did you start contributing to Joomla?
Very late. On 10th of April, I started, and
Oh,
on 19th April, it was the last date for the proposal. So in these 10 days, I created my GitHub account. I
mm,
started like contributing. I got to know about Joomla, and I created my proposal also in these 10 days only. Yeah,
it's sort of unbelievable because, like,
yeah, I
I've been
know.
also I also selecting GSOC this year, and I have
Yeah,
been contributing for such a long time
I
because
know. This
organizations
is
only get two slots, and the competition is so much that you
hmm,
have to really
exactly.
outperform. But later it's collaboration, but initially you have to show your skills better than others. So in nine
Yes.
days, congratulations. What can I say
This is
about it?
like it is unbelievable for me and for most of the students also, because I didn't had like nobody knew my name also in Joomla community. I got to know because communication is the main skill here. As
Exactly.
much you get to more than contributions, you need to make your name. Everybody
Hmm.
in the community should know who you are, so then
Yes.
they will trust you more than other students who are applying. You will
Exactly.
get a plus point over there. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you are not a good contributor, you are a good communicator, you get plus plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joomla got into TSOC first time this year, right?
No, it is
It has
Joomla's
been
14th time.
14th
Yeah.
time. So,
Yes.
how many slots does Joomla get, on an
And
average?
students,
Yeah, students, how many slots?
400 plus. This year there were 400 plus students. So like
Applying for GSOC
yeah,
to Joomla.
yeah.
No, how
Because
many are
I
selected?
five students got selected. There were five projects,
Okay.
and for those five projects, 400 plus students applied. Because I got to know about this, they created a group, Glib channel on Ring Central. Ring Central, it is an app.
Okay.
Over there, they created a group for potential students. So in that
Mm,
group, there were almost, I think, 450 or around like 400 plus students who were
mm,
like potential students, really interested into some project. And after that, they created separate channels for every student. Like you select
okay.
your project, in which project you are interested, and then they gave a particular channel to you, so you can
Okay.
talk to your mentors about anything you have any doubt regarding the project. Also you can apply to multiple projects, so most of the students applied more than one
Yeah.
project.
Three projects you can apply to add marks.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
in same organization in Joomla only multiple projects you can apply.
so you applied for multiple projects this time
No,
also.
I went with one project only, because I was not the serious student this year. I was here to learn. I was here to learn about
Okay.
open source and GSOC. So I was
Okay.
like, I have to learn as much as I can. So I went with the hardest project which I could find. It was a
Okay.
large project and difficulty
Mhm.
level was hard. It was just one
Okay.
project with hard difficulty. So I thought if
Mhm.
I'm here to learn, so I'll learn with
Yeah.
the best.
Go
So
home or go big. Yeah. Go big or
yeah,
go home. That's the
okay.
same. Yeah. So
That
we
was
can say.
my goal for this year.
Okay. So, like, I mean, it's really unbelievable. Like, Joomla has been participating for over 14 years, and
Yeah.
somebody just came 9 days ago and they said, I'm doing GSOC this year. So,
Yeah.
it really blows my mind, and it's really a good achievement that you should be proud of. So, like, you have, I mean, you might, in the 9 days, did you make any PRs or did you just
Yes, I
focus on the
did.
proposal? Okay,
I
so,
did.
like, what was the initial step, contributing to the organization?
Uh, so first of all, I gave a whole day to understand their code because Joomla has
Okay,
a lot of files. As you know, Joomla is a CMS, control management system.
okay,
So it
okay.
has multiple folders for administrative block and for the user's front end, what the user will see. So I for one whole day I read every single file which I could in the
Okay.
administrative block and in the front end section because
Mhm.
I already had experience with PHP, HTML, all the languages I was familiar with. So
Okay, so
only
tech
these,
stack was
only
clear.
yeah, GitHub was new to me, but not the
Okay.
PHP part. Development part was
Okay.
very quite
Mhm.
easy for me because I had experience with PHP, and schema.org was new to me because I have never worked with SEO, search engine optimization. So I
Mhm.
had to learn about schema.org and GitHub. First, I went with schema.org because while selecting the project, my project name is schema.org. So I had to
Okay.
know any idea about schema.org. So
Mhm.
I went with, I read about every single project, and this project, like, I could relate to it because
Okay.
yeah, I had already worked with CMS, so like WordPress. This is also
Okay.
a
Yeah.
CMS.
Very nice.
Yeah. So after reading all the files, I started searching for PRs, like
Okay.
for friendly user first issue, something at
Like
a,
good
they
first
had
issues
labels.
and.
Yeah, they
Okay.
had different labels for beginners, intermediate, and like that. So it was
Mhm.
good first issue which I found on GitHub, and I went
Mhm.
with first PR which I could find.
Okay.
It was really easy PR for anybody who already had idea about what Joomla is. But for
Okay.
me, who is like new to Joomla and has
Yeah.
never worked on Joomla, so I had to search every single file for that. And
Yeah.
after that, I had to like just delete 3 lines and add 6 lines. It was this simple. But for
Okay.
that, I
Yeah,
had
you
to
have
give
to study a
one
lot.
whole day. Yeah. So
That.
I created my first PR. This was my first year in GitHub and in Joomla also.
Okay.
So on 10th April, 9th April, I created my PR. On 10th April, it got merged because it didn't had any changes or
Complications.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
Mhm.
easy. And on 10th April, after it got merged, then the community started recognizing me and they started communicating to me. Yes, we saw your PR and this and that. So after that, I started. Okay. Then they gave me assignment. Though that assignment was like that assignment. Still, if I try to do it, I cannot do it in 3 days. It was such a huge assignment because
Okay.
the project was huge. So they thought that if a student can complete this project in before the proposal, then it means he has the potential to
Mhm.
complete the project also on time. It was designed in such a way. That assignment
Okay.
was to create a complete plugin. So
Okay.
for that project, I didn't sleep for a week or so. In just 3 hours, I could sleep because
Okay.
it was interesting to learn.
Yeah.
I I didn't had any like I have to crack GSOC, I have to do
Mhm.
this. I was not focusing on proposal or all. I was just working on plugin. So
Okay.
finally, I did it in 5 days. I think I created that plugin, and after that they helped me a lot with my proposal because they thought, yeah, she has some potential, so
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
helped me
Let's
with my
invest
proposal.
time into it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, like, how did your mentors connect to you initially? Did they, message you, or you were the one, like, after your PR got merged, you were the one, asking them for
No,
new issues to work
actually,
on?
before applying to Joomla, I texted one of the mentors on LinkedIn. I approached him on
Okay.
LinkedIn because I was new to GitHub and I thought, why to waste my time applying? First, I should ask the mentor if I can apply or not because I don't have any GitHub account also. So on
Okay.
LinkedIn, I approached him and I asked him that I am new to GitHub and this and that. Can I apply to this? So he said, you are already late. Don't waste more time and just fill this group. He shared one Google form link. Then I submitted that form. After next day, I was added to the Glib channel. Over
Okay.
there, I got more mentors. One of
Yeah.
them was Benjamin, Rishabh, and Anurag. They are my project mentors also now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like you connected with them and then they told
Hmm.
you after that.
Yeah.
So
They
like
guided
what
me a
was
lot.
yeah, so like what was that assignment in particular? Like you told you how to build a plugin. So like
Yeah.
what was that
So
plugin for?
actually, my project is to create a form in the component like schema.org gives the user like it gives you schema.org is very difficult to explain. Like, let me explain what is SEO. So, when we search anything on Google and we get rich results are when we see the business contact and map and everything that
Mhm.
clickable
Yeah.
things. Those are rich results. So, for
Mhm.
that we use rich snippets in our HTML code in head tag. So for that, if we have any understanding about HTML or we are web developers, then we can easily add these tags into head tag. But if we are using any CMS like Joomla, so
Okay.
we don't have any HTML or web development knowledge. So we need a
Okay.
very simple UI for that, like a simple form. It should be very simple form and it should ask very simple questions like what is your name, what is your organization's name, and after that, after we click on submit, so it should create a schema automatically and add it to the head tag of the page.
Of the HTML
So
page.
yes. So in order to make it simple for the non-technical users, we are
Okay.
using schema.org. So all of this I have to do, and for this I need to create a form in the front end. User will have to input some data in it and then
Yeah.
submit it, and then that data should be inserted into the HTML page. So my
Okay.
plugin was similar to this, but on a short, like a very smaller
Small
scale
scale. Yeah.
in comparison to the real project.
Real
So
project.
in my plugin, I just needed to show up two custom fields, and user should be able to enter some data in that and click submit. After that, on the front end, that data should be displayed right after the article.
Okay.
So this project was very difficult for me because I couldn't find any documentation about Joomla, and
Okay.
on your YouTube videos regarding like
Yeah.
how to do this, how to create custom field, how to create. Because
Mm.
whenever I searched on videos, I could find only the CMS thing, like how to create a website using Joomla CMS. But
Mm.
how to create a CMS itself, the video was
There's no
not
tutorial
available.
for that.
No, no tutorial available for that.
Mm.
So everything you have to like search on your own, read other components, read other plugins which are already existing into the file. So
Okay.
I also went with that only. I researched about existing plugins, and then
Mm.
using the existing plugins, I understood about how they are creating forms, how they are connecting database, how are they creating the tables into the database, what is happening in the front end, and then I worked my through with the plugins,
Okay.
but
So like
no
when you were
documentation.
developing the plugin, so
Hmm.
like did you contact the mentors if you were facing any difficulty, or it was on your own completely?
So when I started in the community, every student wants to make a good impression on their mentors. Like I won't ask any silly
Dumb
questions.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
what will they think?
Yeah.
She has no
That happens.
capability to understand this such a small issue.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How will she get selected for this program?
Yeah.
So I also didn't ask any issue.
Yeah.
Like I thought this is very silly. How can I ask this?
Mm.
So I just searched on Google as much as I can, and
Mm.
I read into files as like twice, thrice. I kept on reading the PHP code once and then again and then again. Anytime I will understand anything, so I
Mm.
used to like cut like copy any lines of code and then paste it into another page and then run it and see what is happening with these lines, what
Yeah.
particular thing, yeah, what are
Mm.
these lines doing in this code. So
Mm.
to understand each and every line, each and every function, because Joomla has their own coding standards, so they
Yeah.
don't use simple normal PHP, which you can
Mm.
understand easily. So they have their own coding standards. They have their own PHP files. They also have language files. So you cannot simply understand even if there you see a simple hello word that is written in the front end, but in back end it will not be written that so.
Okay.
It will be written in something keyword like J, hello, front end, this page. They have language files for that.
Okay, okay. So like
Yes.
the tags that we use, like
Yeah,
like in
XML files instead of
yeah,
HTML.
XML tags,
Yeah, they have
XML tags,
XML
exactly.
files. So they merge XML for front end, and then for back end they use in simple Ajax requests are also such complicated in
Yeah,
there
yeah.
because it is very secure. Just because of the security, they use these coding standards to maintain the security. Because if you write simple code,
Yeah,
anybody
then
could use
it's
SQL injection and just get all of
yeah,
the
yeah,
database. Yeah,
yeah. And there are courses for that, unlike
yeah,
completely
available on
Joomla. Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. So that can be pretty easily done. So
Yeah,
like I mean, that's a lot of work to do in 9 days. Yeah.
exactly.
So it must have felt like a hackathon, like you had to day and night code and build whatever.
Yeah, it
Because you said
was.
that like 400 students were applying.
Yeah,
So
400. But
any new
one thing I did here, I applied for the most
hardest
difficult
project?
school,
Yeah,
hardest. So most of the students go for easy or medium.
yeah.
They see, yeah, this is easy, so I'll go with this. So in
Mhm.
hard, if you're applying for any difficult, the most difficult project, you will not have any traffic over there. But
Yeah,
if you have a traffic, so those students will be like very competitive and they
yeah.
will know what they are doing. So it is hard to compete with them.
Yeah, because like what happens if you apply to a harder project is
Hmm.
that first of all the mentors think that oh that like she's a
Yeah,
newcomer and she's so
right.
confident in her skills that she's going for the
Hmm.
hardest project. So like that's a pretty neat tactic to
There
follow.
could be that it could also give you a nice impression, but it could also show you like she's
Yeah,
very overconfident, like
yeah.
she knows nothing.
It
But
could
yeah, she was.
make you or break you. Like
Yeah,
that
right.
could happen. Yeah.
That's up to you how you want to do
Yeah,
it.
like how you really worked
Hmm.
hard, like you told in 9 days you had to do an assignment, then even
Yeah.
contribute to the code base, read the code base. So
Hmm.
that's really like in what happens in my organization is that in 9 days like an issue is made, then
Hmm.
that if you make a PR, then after 9 or 10 days it's the review process starts. So like this
Yeah.
is how insignificant 9 days are in
In
some
my
out.
also, like in Joomla also, after the proposal period ended, like after GSOC was done, all the proposals were made. So after that, they stopped this PR merging process. I think it was just for the GSOC period only because they knew many
Okay.
new students also come during this period. They join and they create PRs and they have to mention that PR into their proposal. So during that phase, the merging process was really quick. You
Okay.
create a PR today and then till tomorrow or day after tomorrow it will be merged or it will have any
Yeah,
review.
mentors are
Yeah.
active at that time.
Yes, but
Yeah.
after 19th April, I didn't stop till 19th.
Hmm.
After 19th also, I kept working on those on Joomla, and I made 20 contributions in May.
20
Well, 20
commits or
contributions.
20 PRs?
Contributions. So PRs will
Okay.
6 7 PR. I
Okay. So
also
commits
worked
were
on
20.
no contributions like commits,
Like, yeah,
different
commits.
commits.
That's, yeah,
Yes.
commits were 20.
So after 30th May, in
Mhm.
potential students group, they asked if any student want to volunteer for bug fixing. So
Okay.
I gave my name for that, and
Mm.
we have to find some bugs, and there were some issues in last year's project. 2021, we had some project
Okay.
regarding cookie manager. So that looks very interesting to me, and also that project was created by my mentor who will be the mentor this
Yeah.
year for me. He was a student last year and he created this project. So I thought I should look into this. So
Yeah, you could make a good impression.
yeah, and also they were asking for volunteers, so I gave my name,
Mhm.
and it had 22 issues which needed to
Okay.
be fixed, and 7 of them I did by my own. So so that made impression. I think they
Yeah.
got to know my name at least.
Yeah, exactly. Like the identifying factor is like when you make contribution to
Hmm.
to GitHub. So there's your avatar or your icon. It's
Hmm.
displayed. So I
Yes.
try to keep it as catchy as possible so that they recognize. Okay, like mine
Yeah.
is like I won't tell what is right now, but it's quite catchy and it looks
Hmm.
unique so that they remember. Okay, just by the the image they remember that oh he's that contributor, because there are a lot of contributors and they
Hmm.
cannot remember each and everyone's name. So
Right.
that's
But
something I follow.
this is a perk of having unique names. Your name
Yeah,
is also quite unique,
yeah,
and mine also. Because
yeah.
if they saw once my name, then they will never
Hmm.
forget. I think
Yeah,
because it is unique.
yeah, because that helps. It helps a lot.
Hmm.
So now that brings on to my next question. Like we get an intuition before GSOC. Like, okay, this year I might be selected. My chances are quite
Hmm.
good, or my chances are absolute trash. I won't get selected. So what was happening with you? Did you have some insight or something? Some tips like you
Um,
could get selected,
it was
something like
like, I think it was 50-50 with me. It was 50-50 situation. After creating my proposal and submitting it, I used to go daily. I used to go to the Google GSOC dashboard and refresh it. So, yeah, it is
yeah,
updated today. This year, I think there was some bug in
yeah,
GSOC
in GSOC, yeah,
dashboard. Yeah,
yeah. It
some
took me two
results were
three hours to
revealed.
see that whether I was
Hmm.
selected or not.
Yeah, so there was some bug. If you update it regularly, if you refresh it, you could see that mentors are updating your proposal or
Hmm.
something. There was something like that. I used to refresh it daily, and I could see, yeah, okay, so my proposal is updated today. My profile is updated today. So it gave me a hint. Oh, am I like, are they updating my? But I was new and I didn't had any friends who applied. So I could not ask to them, is it happening with you also, or is it just me? So I thought, don't think about the result. Just keep on working, keep on learning.
Yeah,
If not this year, then maybe next year.
next year. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I,
that's the perfect mindset to apply for any
yeah.
program. Yeah.
So
So like,
I didn't even check the results also, because I
okay,
thought, no, no, don't. It
there's
will
no
break you.
chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they in Glib channel only they started like congratulations, because result
Okay.
was about to announce on 21st,
Yeah.
but it didn't. It was
Hmm.
announced on 22nd, 12 a.m. After 12
Okay.
a.m. I
I
think.
mean, I don't remember the time, but
Hmm.
like the other contributors in my organization and my friends were panicking. Like, I haven't
Hmm.
received any mail. And like
Yes,
when they
I too.
sent the GSOC mail, and it was written
Hmm.
that due to some bug, we weren't able to send mail to selected students. So here is our
Hmm.
mail. After 18 hours, we are sending it to you. So I was like,
So I
okay,
too didn't
it's
got any mail. Maybe this was the issue. So I
yeah.
thought, okay, so now 21st is over. I didn't got
Mhm.
selected. Now just move on with it. I'll solve for. I'll just contribute. I'll just keep contributing, and then next year I'll apply more seriously in
Yeah.
and write a good proposal. So
Okay.
that was my mindset. But at 12 a.m. on 22nd, I got congratulations messages on Glip channel, and I was like, seriously, is it happening, or am I dreaming or what?
Okay. So like now talking about contribution, so like
Hmm.
your contribution must have been sorry proposal. Your proposal must
Hmm.
have been really good, like because 9 days, your proposal must have
Hmm.
been outstanding that you got selected.
But
So
I heard like people have proposals of 15, 16 pages, like such
yeah,
huge
yeah, that is
proposals,
there.
right? But my
Mm,
proposal was not that detailed. I think
okay.
it was very compact. I didn't
Mm,
had anything to write except the implementation. Like I wrote everything that I. Also, we had a template in Joomla,
okay. Okay.
so I followed that template. I can share my screen and show you if you want
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. That would be perfect.
Okay.
So like the proposal you make that need not be lengthy, because like what I've seen that mentors do not want to read much or scroll through 20 pages to see what's happening. If you are able to sum
Right.
up in short, then it's really good, because as a student we feel that the much more content we give, the more professional we look and the more detailed it is, the better it will look. But at the end it's just conveying your message so that they can figure it out whether you know your stuff or not. So I'm just
So is my
yeah,
screen visible?
yeah, it's visible, perfectly visible.
So I should, here is my proposal, first of all. I
Okay.
have hidden some of my personal
Ah, that's
details.
all right. That's all
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's clever. Actually, I
here
like
I have
when I
programming
share
task,
that.
first
Yeah.
of all. So this was the programming task
Mm.
which we
Okay.
needed to do. And
Yeah.
here is
Mm.
the template.
Okay. For the proposal.
Yeah, Joomla gives you a template which you should follow, because they clearly mention you don't please don't write too much of text, random
Mm.
text. Students
Mm.
copy and paste. So is
Yeah.
it just be
Uh,
compact with your words?
the template is actually not visible. Like you might have opened in a new tab.
Okay, just give me a minute. I will have to share this tab also,
Okay.
or I could just copy and paste it here.
Yeah, that will also.
Now,
Yeah, it's visible now. Perfectly visible.
yeah. So this is a template.
Mm-hmm.
You need to write contact information about your project and familiarity with Joomla, involvement with Joomla community, and there were some requirements that you should have to write blogs. You will have to write blogs. You will have to attend webinars. So yes, 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 in
Okay.
all of that.
Yeah, you cannot say no.
Yeah. So here is my proposal. You
Okay.
can see it was just like in template, contact
Mm-hmm.
information, and then a
Mm-hmm.
overview of the problem, like if you have understood the problem right or not.
Mm-hmm.
This was for that.
Okay.
Again, a problem description, some in some
Mm-hmm.
technical formats. So
Mm-hmm.
this was my plan, how I am planning to do it. So I clearly wrote that I'll be using JSON LD. I used keywords, so it will be
Okay.
easier for them that yeah, I have any idea about the project.
Mm-hmm.
So I have used some keywords like schema types, attributes,
Mm-hmm.
Ajax interface, because Ajax interface is a component in Joomla. So
Okay.
like using this keyword, they know that yeah, she knows about Ajax
Mm-hmm.
interface.
Mm-hmm.
Then I
So
have
then
written
is the
about implementation
implementation.
part. Yeah.
Okay.
How will I implement what all I have written in my proposed plan? And
Okay.
this, I also added a
Diagrams.
diagram sort of thing
Mm.
to make it
Yeah,
like,
it looks more professional. Like I've seen in
right.
templates that students add that
For this,
previous proposals.
I also watched a YouTube video for
Okay.
how to create a unique proposal like this. So
Okay.
they said that you can add some graphics to
Mm.
make it different. So this was my plan. Like this from this form, I will get these details. From this form, I will get these, and then I'll create this
Uh,
schema.
JSON
This was
data.
the gen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this will be the generated schema. And this form, I created this form to take a screenshot. This is not designed in Photoshop.
Okay.
I
Okay.
created this complete form in Joomla CMS, and then I took a
Okay.
screenshot of this. And this
So
schema
like.
also I created this. If you can zoom in into this schema, you see this is not some random text, but it is a real schema with
Okay.
real attributes and text and all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 And
So
then
you
I've
have
written,
to put in efforts.
and this was my
Mm-hmm.
timeline. How am I planning to
Okay.
do everything within the time limit? So
Mm.
for this I asked my mentor, because this year we had
Two
we
type
can
of
like
projects,
uh, just yeah.
medium and large.
My was a large project, so I had
Mm.
option to extend it till November. So
Okay.
I was confused if I should extend it or not. So my mentor, he gave me recommendation to extend it till November, and if I could complete it
Okay.
before the November, then
Yeah.
I'll
Then
have
it's perfect.
some time to rest. So I did the same thing. I have
Okay.
written these guidelines, timelines till November.
Mm.
No, so
Okay.
this time I'll give it to. And here is my familiarity with Joomla. I've written all truth, nothing lie. That I started to know about Joomla during GSOC only, and this
Mm.
was my PR, and this
Okay.
was my programming task. So I can
Okay.
show you my programming task also if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, that would also.
Now, first of all, you should see my first
Yeah.
PR
Okay. Okay. Let's see that.
because it was really simple.
Okay.
Yeah. This was my first PR. 12th November I created it. Yeah, you can
April.
see.
April.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this
So
I also added screenshots.
yeah.
These just basic changes. Here it was written language ascending and I had to write title ascending. And just for this little change, I
Mm.
have to change in two different files.
Yeah, that happens.
Language files.
Yeah. So
This
this is a
these
like key value pair file, and that is the
Yeah.
key value pairs being used.
Yeah. So these
So
were like language files into language. I had no idea about these. They exist. So for
so
this, I
like
had to read
basically the
everything.
down one is
Hmm.
for internationalization, like message
Yeah,
internationalization,
because they
and the
all,
upper one.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have different languages
Hmm.
support. And in this, I got to know about many things. There, then it got merged,
So yeah, it
and
must have felt great. Like first pair got merged. So
it was a
now that
celebration for me. This was a plugin that I created.
okay.
So it has a basic file like PHP, and this
Okay.
is XML file for front end, and this PHP file
Okay.
for the back end, SQL for database, forms
Okay.
for the form. There, so in this you have to create a form folder if you want to add a form in your plugin. This was simple plugin. It you can. see how much coded there was. This was the main part of the code.
Yeah.
I got to
So this
learn
is
a lot of things
yeah.
in this.
So like for how many, how much time have you been into web development? Because like in 9 days
Oh,
you just did it, so you must be pretty familiar with it.
the web development, I have for I think a year,
Okay, okay.
a year or so. I have done web development. Now, can I should I stop sharing?
Yeah, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. So now let's move on to the next question. So you started contributing. So like, what are the tips and advices that you would give to some newcomer that is looking forward to contribute or get selected into GSOC with Joomla? Because right now you got selected and you have been working, like you told. After that, you were also continuously working. So like,
Hmm.
what would be the steps that you would say, like, follow these steps initially? Contact the mentors or read the code base. So
Hmm.
could you could also feel like you could have done something better? So like, what would be a piece of advice for somebody who's new to open source or new to Joomla in general?
First of all, I would like if you are new, just start communicating first. See who is your mentor. They show the mentor in Google organizations. If you select your organization, then go to ideas, project list. They have a project and below. I don't know if this is same for every organization, but in Joomla they have they tell you who will be the mentor of this project. Below the project details they have like complete description what is the project about, and then they have who will be the mentors. So contact your mentors on LinkedIn, approach them, talk to them. They will tell you about the organization also. And once you are added to the community channel, glib channel, they are really friendly people. They enjoy talking a lot. Just active, be active. Anybody is asking questions, you answer to them. Don't think that they are not particularly asking to you.
Mm.
You can communicate. You just don't think how I'll look like a fool, or my questions are so silly, they'll what will they think, nothing like that, because they are
Because
very busy.
everybody goes through that phase.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And every year so many students apply. They are not all advanced open
Mm.
source contributors. Some are new, some are old, and they know how to respect.
Yeah.
They
Because
are polite.
that's really, yeah. I mean,
And if you are
there is,
trying to learn, everybody will help you.
yeah,
Everybody will help you in the
the
community. they
organization.
want they want more students in their community. That is the
Yeah.
reason they are participating in GSOC. And
GSOC or any other plan.
open source organizations always does in search of students who want to
Mm-hmm.
contribute. So
Mm-hmm.
if you show that you are really interested in contributing to their organization, to be a part of their organization, they will be really very happy and very
Yeah.
to help you learn, to help you grow. Just need to show them that you are really interested, and
Mm.
show your efforts also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, which brings on to us next question. So, like, what is the tech stack that Joomla uses in particular? Like, it might have many projects that are going on. So, like, what does it use, or the documentation it has? Like, could you share that thing?
Yeah. So they use majorly they use PHP, XML, JavaScript, Ajax, a bit of, and CSS, HTML. This
Mhm.
basic web development tech stack they
Okay,
use.
okay.
Hmm.
And it might have some backend also, like what they're
Yeah.
doing
For
in the
backend they
backend.
use SQL,
Okay.
hmm. MySQL database.
So, are you going to share something? Like, I'll share something.
Yes, I can share their GitHub repo.
Yeah, so that will be correct.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's visible now. It's visible.
Yeah. So is the repository visible?
It's visible.
So this is the main 4.1 branch, and
Oh,
now they are planning to go with 4.2. In this only I was working recently. Beta version is launched on 7th June. Here you can see most of the files are PHP.
Okay. Like it shows on the
JSON
library
also.
section also.
This is the main section where you need to work, administrative block.
Script. Okay.
In this, they have components, different components for admin, for Ajax. This is the com Ajax. If you need to call any type of Ajax request, you need to use this component. This is the admin component.
Okay.
In every folder they follow a format, so it is very easy for you to create any new plugin because every plugin follows the same format. They will have multiple folders, one HTML file, one PHP file. For example, in PHP file also, if you open any single PHP file, they will follow the same format. They have comments also for so you can understand it better. No, documentation is available for Joomla, but that is very outdated. You cannot use it now. So yeah, I will recommend to any student who is trying to learn how to contribute to Joomla, just read out the existing code. Try to learn about from the existing code who is like this. If you want to create any update function, just go to this file and see what this update function is doing. Then copy the same code and create a new file, run it and see how is it
What are the
working.
changes?
Yeah, most of the things you can learn by your own from here.
Okay. So like what are the labels? Like what are the issues segregated based on? Like there are good first
Yeah,
issues, good
here
second
I
issues.
can show you issues. They are very labels are also added in most of the issues. These are new issues, so they don't have labels I think till now. But if you search here, you will get many labels. And here is the good first issue from where you can get good issues to work like this one. Most of the good first issues are done. They are not yet
Okay, okay.
because
So
yeah,
like somebody's working on it.
yes,
Yeah. So like
but there
what
are
happens?
many.
Okay. So like what happens in my organization is that you cannot work on an issue until it's approved. So like there's approved tag. So like is there something like that in Joomla too?
No, if
Like
you
can you make
have
any issue?
there is no such thing like approved, but if you click on any issue, they have comments. Like this issue, they have comments if they tell you that you need to work or not. If
Like
any
you
issue
said
is like
confirm right there.
yes, they will tell you, yeah, you can start working. They confirm it like this. They don't have any labels for this.
Okay. So the issues get assigned to you. Like if you say I want to work on that issue, they assign you the issue, right?
No,
Or is it
nobody
implicit?
assigns. I also asked about this because one issue I was working on an issue and some other student created a PR for that.
Okay.
So I was very mad about this. So I asked in my channel about to my mentor that I was working on that issue. So how can
Okay.
anybody? And I also commented on that issue
Mhm.
that I am working on this issue.
Working on it.
So
Okay.
yes, but he said it doesn't matter if you are working or you have already almost worked or you have completed. If you have created PR first, so that issue you that is assigned to you in a way, because yeah, if you have drafted your first solution and created a PR for any issue, so they close the issue here and only the PR is created over here,
Okay.
so that nobody else can work on that.
Yeah. So like this was a bit of thing that is usually
Hmm.
it's particular to an organization. It's not something that is universally followed.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Like
have not worked in any other organization till now, so I don't have any idea.
now like what happens on my side is
Hmm.
that if you comment I am on it, like
Hmm.
even after that like you can hold it for a few days, but
Hmm.
after like you comment on it and somebody makes a PR, so his
Hmm.
PR would be null and void. It won't be considered because you have sort if he if I commented and he made a PR, and if I
Hmm.
permit him like you can work on this issue, then it's fine. But if I'm saying that I am working on this issue locally and I have not pushed
Hmm.
it onto GitHub yet,
Hmm.
and I have come up with a solution. So his PR would be rejected, and because I
And they
have
will
made,
wait for you.
yeah, they will wait for me. Like if I return do it in like when somebody makes a PR, it's there's a pressure on you. Oh, somebody made a
Hmm.
PR, like now I have to make a PR too.
Hmm.
Because I'm working on the same issue. Like he might
Hmm.
have his progress might have been more than you, but still you
Hmm.
have to make an issue and it gets assigned to you first. So like
This
these are
is better. I also thought like they should assign. But in a way, if you think if any issue is assigned to you and you stop working on that, then what will be the process?
um, yeah. So That's
Yeah.
like yeah. So that's better rather than
Hmm.
like I started working on this. You they say no, somebody
Hmm.
made a PR. Now your code is gone. Work on somewhere
But
else.
they did, but in bug fixing they do this.
Okay. Okay.
I was fixing some bugs I told you about in Cookie
Mm,
Manager. So in that there were only 22 issues. So they had a due date for that to launch beta version. So over there they assigned issues. If you volunteer that I want to
mm,
like go with this issue, then they will assign it to you, and they will ask till when you can complete it. So they
okay.
also give you a due date to complete it
Okay.
until. But most of the students didn't do it.
Okay. So they
They
weren't
just,
volunteering for
yeah,
that.
first they gave their name that yeah, I want to do it, and after when they were assigned, given a due date, so they stopped working or what, I don't know. But no PRs were created for those issues.
Okay. So that's what gave you the upper edge, and that's why you was like,
Maybe.
yeah. I mean, that might be the reason because other people
Mm.
stop working and you were still working.
Yeah, I asked my mentor about this.
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
what made you select me? Because I too didn't had any idea I will be selected. So he said like your
Mm. Yeah.
motivation to learn, and how you utilize your free time in learning and exploring more of the from Joomla. Because I started on within 2 days only I created my first PR, and
Okay.
after that also I continued working on that, creating
Mm.
more PRs, and I
Mm.
was active in the community. Regularly I was communicating with team
Mm.
members.
So
So maybe
that's
that
what
could
made the
be a thing.
difference. Yeah, that could have been a factor definitely.
Hmm.
So now let's move on to the next question. Like you
Yeah.
have been, you have been in development for quite a time.
Yeah.
So was it on university side like they were teaching you professionally, or was it resources from online or courses
Hmm.
online that you were
No,
following?
it was not. Over there also I did a thing like this only. I didn't know about PHP. So I
Okay.
thought if I want to learn, so why not teach it? In international trainings, I applied for a teaching assistant, because
Okay.
if you are a teaching assistant, they will give you a full course for PHP.
Okay.
Before that, I learned on YouTube about
Mm.
how to create, how to fetch the data from the database, how
Mm.
like small little
CRUD
things
basically.
about PHP. Yeah.
Mm.
But more than PHP, I knew about Bootstrap, HTML in front end, because
Okay.
I had done a course, 45 days course for Java development. In that, I didn't got to learn about Java most, but my front end got, like I got to know about
Java is a good
Bootstrap.
language. Java is a good language.
Java is a good and very what
Yeah.
to say.
Mm.
I mean, it is quite wide. If you are
Yeah.
planning to learn Java, you will have to give a lifetime for that. You cannot
Yeah.
definitely learn it
Mm.
in 45 days.
Few days.
In
I mean,
45 days,
45, you
they
can
taught
basically,
like
cover
complete.
it, but
Hmm.
implementation part and, you are writing real code. So that
Hmm.
might not be very possible, but you can, cover basic functionalities and even, the advanced functionalities because Java changes a lot with versions and new features are added. And those new features are really used in, production these days because if you are, comparing Java 5 and then you compare even Java 8, those
Hmm.
just three versions later, and
Hmm.
Java, Java 5 at that time would become it would not be used by anybody. So that's why, Java really varies with versions. So you have to keep, you have to update yourself. So that's about Java.
But yeah, if that course is like solely for Java for 45 days, then it is, I think you will get an idea, yeah,
Yeah.
about Java. But that course was like web development with Java. So in that they covered everything which you need for web development. They covered Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, also JS, and then Java also. So how can anybody
So
possibly
you
do this?
were using Java, like how were you using Java? You were using Spring framework or any other framework with
Spring
Java?
Hibernate.
Yeah, Spring is that. Like
Hmm.
with native Java, I have not seen anybody doing web development. Yeah, Spring
No,
Hibernate is
and
nice.
I too quit that in my BC only. So after
Okay.
that, I went with Android because I knew I had some idea about Java, so it was
Mhm.
easier with Kotlin.
Yeah,
Then I
Kotlin
did,
is easy.
yeah. So I learned about Android. After that, I created one prototype of Ola. It was
Oh,
very famous at that time, and there were many tutorials available on YouTube. So I learned from that only. And after that, I planned for PHP too. So PHP was very easy in
similar to
comparison
Java.
to Java. It was
Yeah.
very easy. I found it very easy because I had already experienced Java. That
Okay.
made PHP look quite easy. And
And
syntax is almost same, I think, in Java
yeah,
and
it's public
PHP.
and
Hmm.
like like I am not really well versed with PHP. I tried it in my first semester, made a
Hmm.
project in it. Now I don't remember anything about PHP. So
Yes, it is similar. If you, but it is easier because you can use HTML also in PHP, so you
yeah,
don't need to create multiple files and HTML one for PHP. So it is easy in
yeah,
that way.
like Java is quite verbose. Like you have to
Hmm.
define everything, and the project structure in Spring Boot essentially,
Right.
it needs to be in a particular manner so
If
that
you have the same project, same website, and you created one with Java and one with PHP, you will see the difference. The number of files in Java and number of files in PHP. I have PHP is very easy. If you are planning to go with web development, PHP is the thing. Just go with it.
okay. Like I've been working with Java. My project this year, it's like
Hmm.
Java oriented only, and it's a tool like it's built. It's a tool for Java. Like you have might have seen some static linking tools for PHP as well. Like the
Hmm.
ESLint, like it's for JavaScript. Have you
For
heard about?
JavaScript,
Yeah, it's there's a tool
ES6.
ESLint. So it's a linting tool.
No.
So it's basically what Word does. Microsoft Word. If you enter incorrect spelling, there are red squiggly lines,
Hmm.
beneath it. So we do it for the code. So that's just the difference. Like if your
Okay.
logic is wrong or that, so your logic is wrong or naming convention. So that's the stuff that we follow. So now let's ask chat some questions. Like have been they if they wish to ask some questions they can, because it
Yeah.
has been a long time since some ask some questions. So like chat, go on, ask some questions. We try our best to answer those questions. So let's wait for a few seconds for chat to ask some
Yeah.
questions. And in the meantime, guys, links to Shazma's socials are down below. Follow her on Twitter, follow her on LinkedIn, and show her
Yeah.
some support. So it would be good. Yeah, because she has taken out time from her schedule because she is in a large project and that too a hard project. So still, the community bonding period is going on, but still there's a lot of
Hmm.
documentation to read. So that's the least you would do. Follow her on social so that she feels good. So let's wait. Chart, chart with some questions. So there's a question. Akshita asking this question. What are some things in your career that you regret not having done earlier, if any?
Hmm. There are some.
So,
I think I will not say that I regret, but
mm,
it would have been a bit easier for me if I started my PHP before starting with Java in my
okay.
BCA. My minor project was with Java, so instead of Java, if I took PHP, then I think it would have been better because Java is of no use for me now till now. I have never used, and I think now I cannot reconsider it also about
Oh,
using it in
is
web
that so?
development. No, for web
Okay,
development, I will never.
okay, that's understandable because it's quite verbose and
Hmm.
there are a lot of things that you need to handle. But
Yes. In
okay,
future, if I go with any other thing, like if I plan to go with Android or any such technology which requires Java knowledge, then I may use it. But for now, I am into web development and I don't really use Java anytime.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Web development is rarely used in Java. Like some projects
Hmm.
use which follow microservices pattern. So like it is popular in that area. But other than that, in normal web development, I have not seen much developers using that. So it's absolutely fine. So
Also,
now
it would
there's
have been better if I could apply for to GSOC in my bachelor's only in my BCA. But at that time, it was not that famous or nobody knew about it
okay. So
in
Vishwanath
my college.
popularized it.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
he did.
He did a lot for open source. Yeah, he has done a lot for open source.
Every student in open source knows about him.
Yeah, he knows about it. So like there's another question from Rishabh, and he's asking that I'm familiar with Ruby on Rails and Spring Boot. Their structure working are quite same. which are you going to prefer over which framework? So, are you
I think
familiar with
that
Ruby?
is no, I am not familiar. I have heard about it, Ruby on Rails, but I've
Mhm.
never worked on it. But I think whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Like I have, like I can tell about Spring Boot, uh,
Hmm.
because before Spring Boot was there, like we used to follow the normal MVC pattern.
Hmm.
So that was really painful because you had to, like there was a lot of bootstrap, there was a lot of boilerplate stuff that you need to do before even starting a project in Java with Spring, but Spring
Hmm.
Boot omitted that. So I can say about Spring Boot that if you want to learn about it, it has become really concise and it is being developed continuously. And if you are going into microservice or in the cloud computing field, then Spring Boot, it would play a good role because a lot of frameworks are natively supported by Spring Boot, and you do not need to fetch something or work on your own because everything, it's well documented and there is a lot of community support. So that about
Spring
Ruby on
Boot.
Rails, you could search that. Yeah, actually, Java
You
was
look
my
like
first.
a hardcore Java fan to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm a hard Java fan. Like it was my first language and the first
Mine
organization.
too.
Like the first, yeah. So that,
Java,
that's a
I
good
was
thing.
also like, I was a fan of Java until got into web development. Java,
Okay.
because in school we had BlueJ, so it was
Okay.
my first
Mhm.
language.
Mhm. So because first language and my first open source organization, it was in Java as well, and right now I'm
Oh.
working with them only. So I mean,
So
Java is. Yeah, go
you
on.
are working with your first organization till now,
Yeah, it's my
but
first
you
organ. No, I
started, but
worked.
you, hmm,
I worked with several organizations, but in Java only. There were many
hmm,
organizations that I've worked with,
hmm,
but this organization in particular, first year because we get our organization, the slots are a bit less than other organizations, but we consistently get those slots. So first year I knew that my chances were scarce, so there was
hmm,
actually no point of applying. I knew that it's not going to happen, so because I was learning at that time, I was in my first year
hmm.
and I could have applied, but then I did not want to face rejection, so I didn't even apply.
This is this is what stops students.
Yeah, but I was contributing to that because at that time I had seen
Hmm.
what happens. Like in my organization, the top committers or the top contributors, they are automatically picked. So like that's what happened. So
Okay.
I mean, it was not an official route, but it's obvious they knew more than me, so I did not
Hmm.
apply. But this year, it was more than obvious that I will get selected. I knew
Hmm.
before that only that my chances are really good. So this year I got selected and I've been working in Java in the organization because okay, so uh, less about me and let's do some more questions. Okay, so Rishabh is stuck onto Spring Boot. So what are your views on
Hmm.
Spring Boot framework and JavaScript framework? So you could say about JavaScript if you know.
JavaScript and Spring Boot framework are related anyhow.
uh, I mean, I have not used any Spring Boot, like they use React, Angular, JS. I have not used them,
Okay.
but yeah,
I
Spring
don't
Boot
have
is.
any idea about React, but for JavaScript, I have jQuery.
Okay. So JavaScript is the best thing to go for web development. I'd say that, and Spring Boot if you are going into cloud computing microservices, then you could go with that. So like there's another question, and it's a quite long one. What challenges do you face considering women in tech? Like generally, most of the girls aren't into it, and if someone wants to work, it's quite hard at the beginning. So like, what are your views on it?
Right. So first and foremost problem is nobody takes you seriously if you are like
Uh, like you were lagging between, we couldn't hear you. So can you hear me, Shazma?
uh,
Can you hear me?
hello.
Hello, can you hear me, Shazma?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think there was some network issue.
No problem, no problem. So you were saying something about women in tech. I mean, there was some lag that we couldn't hear it.
Hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now perfectly fine.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine now. Can't you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so my I was answering. I think
Mm,
most of the problem is because you don't get mentors who are women. In
okay.
so when you're communicating, it is uh, it is easier when you're communicating with women, so they can answer you more clearly, or it is
Mm,
not you don't feel like you are dumb or what. They take
mm,
you seriously.
yeah.
And in GSOC also, I think there are many less women. Last year, I searched about projects which were in Joomla last year, and there were 5 projects last year also, and all of them were for male students. There were no girls in last year also, and but this year it is different. This year we have 5 projects, and 3 of them are girls, 2 are boys. So I
Yeah,
think it is already making a
yeah,
difference,
it's
at
yeah,
least in
yeah.
Joomla. Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know
And you are
about
a part of
others,
that
but
difference.
yes, I am also.
Yeah, yeah. So like what happens usually is that like in what I have seen, like I have not seen much, but if somebody approaches to me or somebody asks me, you should
Hmm.
not really base your answer on that whether he's a boy or she's a girl. So it should not be in that way. And
Yes,
I have seen developers who are even better than me, and people say that they are like women, they are better than me, but people don't consider them seriously. So that's happening, but that's slowly changing. And like you
yes.
only told right now
Mindsets are
that
changing
yeah,
regularly,
mindsets are changing.
but still, if you
It's
know,
still
if
somewhat
there
there, but
many students in CS, mostly in CS,
mm,
if you ask them, then they will tell, no, I don't think girls can be like competitive programmer or a developer or data scientist. They can't. But because
like
because they don't see any such examples. Even in your class, I'm sure ratio of girls and boys must be like
yeah, I mean
1 to 5
it's
or
pretty, yeah, even less than that, I think.
Mhm. Same as
Yeah.
in my also. In my batch, we have 100 students, and
Mm,
20 or 25 of them are girls. So you can see a clear difference.
mm. But it's changing, it will gradually change. And I have seen more girls in competitive coding. Like I searched for TCS code vita once. So like
Mhm.
the winner, she, I don't remember her name. Like she was like her solution was really optimized, and I saw her talk, and the way
Mhm.
that she was delivering it, it's better than boys, like
But
as
mostly,
clear
I
as
have
that.
seen like the contributors, like
Mm,
competitive programmers. They are
mm.
like men only. If you know,
It
on
will,
Code Forces also,
yeah,
there
that's
are
tourist, right?
yeah, tourist. His
Mm,
real name I can't even pronounce. He's Russian,
yeah. Mm.
so I will not try.
Don't. So it's changing, and I think that it will change. It would be even better in the future. Like three this year, maybe five next year. All five,
Maybe
yeah, yeah,
it will
maybe.
be great.
Yeah, yeah. So now let's move on to the other question. So Rishabh is asking, other than open source programs, how do we find organization on GitHub? So like,
Mm. Yeah, we can search on GSOC only. We can see organizations who participated last year or this year, because mostly same organizations only participate each year. I think
okay.
organizations who participated this year will most probably participate next year also. So even if you are starting, you can, according to your preferred language, or if you are already interested into any organization, you can search on GSOC
Mm.
official website.
Yeah, yeah. So I also answer this question. So Rishabh,
Mhm.
go to the first episode. I answer this question, so like you could find some more information.
Yeah.
Do some work, Rishabh. We are not going
Link,
to answer it
link,
again.
link
Yeah,
in the description
link
below.
description. Yeah, link description below.
Yeah.
So Akshita is asking that what have been the defining factors in your personal development journey? So something on you.
Hmm.
So
Defining factors.
in a personal
Uh,
development journey, like some steps that you take, or these
hmm.
were things that really made the change, that really set you apart. So like those things she's asking.
So I think my efforts and my learning ability. It could be that is also because I gave time also to learn. So first of all, you need in that much interest to give your whole day to any. particular thing. Like even if you want to give 10 hours to your project, you cannot give your 10 hours to your project if you don't have that much of interest
Yeah.
to uh, to sit and focus for continuous 10 hours. So I think I developed my focus quite much during this time. And I got to learn about SEO also. That was something which
Yeah.
horrified me a time ago, because the SEO is not related to web development. That was my mindset before, but now I think it is. I'm
Yeah.
working on something SEO related.
So
So it
like
expanded it expanded my web development tech set. Now I can also write that I also have some idea about SEO.
And you could also write that crack GSOC in 9 days in your LinkedIn
Yeah,
profile or in your GitHub profile. So
quite an achievement.
yeah, quite an achievement. Really quite an achievement. Like 9 days, students even don't get
Hmm.
started with an organization, and took it on the next level. So that's really something you should be proud of. So guys, if there are any more questions, you can ask, because we are going to conclude the session soon. So let's wait for a few seconds if there are any more questions.
Hmm.
So I don't think that there are any more questions. So like, Shazma, thank you so much for doing with us. You sharing your experience, guiding newcomers, to open source and how to contribute in Joomla in particular. And thank you for doing this with us. And we wish you all the best for your GSOC project, GSOC project and your future endeavors. And thank you for coming out, to interact with us. And thank you, chat, for asking questions and making it an interactive session, and that would be it. And thank you, Shadma. Thank you, everybody. And
Thank
this,
you.
yeah, it's ninth. And the last thing I would like to say is that we have this, right till now, many of you might know about it. We have this, 12-day open source cafe, and we would be, inviting GSOC mentors and other people who have significantly contributed to open source, just like Shazma, and so that they could share their experiences and tell the audience. So it is going to be 12, so going till 12. So guys, join daily. It's around 7 p.m., 7 to 8 p.m. And follow our socials, follow Shazma. All links to our socials are down in the description. And with that, let's conclude the session. Thank you, everybody. Peace. Bye Shazma.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.